All right, today we are diving deep into a character who is just absolutely fascinating. We're talking about Jarru Jandre Tarak, or, Jarru to most of us. This is a man who lives right at the crossroads of ancient tradition and, well, super modern charisma. He basically is the living tension between a sacred past and a really dynamic present. And this quote, this right here gets straight to the heart of his entire philosophy. See, for him, it's not about ditching the old ways. Not at all. It's about keeping them breathing, keeping them relevant, and making sure they're in a constant conversation with the world as it is right now. This single idea is really the key to understanding everything about him. So, who is this person, really? Well, he's a total paradox. He just defies any easy label you try to put on him. He's an artist, but he's driven by this deep spiritual core. He's a diplomat, but he's guided by ancient ritual. And yeah, he's a noble, but one who's way more interested in building bridges than he is in guarding old walls. To really get him, you have to see how all these different parts of him connect. You've got this idea of a progressive noble, blending a reformer's fiery spirit with an artist's touch. He's the heir to a 21-generation lineage, which is mind-boggling, yet every single modern move he makes is shaped by ancient ritual. So let's see how these pieces actually fit together. And that brings us to his really unique worldview. We're not just talking about politics, not even close. Jarru's ideology is a whole philosophy. It's emotional, it's cultural, it's spiritual, the whole shebang. It's what his family calls the balanced fire. Okay, so before we can really place Jarru on the map, it helps to have a clear framework, right? A progressive, they want to reshape a flawed system from the ground up. A liberal works to reform it from within. Then you have a conservative who wants to preserve what's stable, and a traditionalist who is all about loyalty to what's sacred and ancient. Now, most people kind of lean one way, but Jarru? Well, he's a whole different kind of blend. And this chart really shows his unique ideological makeup. Just look at that. A dominant 60% progressive. He totally believes in radical change and challenging old structures to keep the flame of society burning bright. But that drive is tempered. It's balanced by a liberal's belief in dialogue, a conservative's respect for structure, and just enough of a traditionalist reverence for his own deep roots. This is his personal creed, and man, it just perfectly captures that balance we were talking about. He's a reformer who absolutely honors where he came from. He fights for things like emotional freedom and social justice, but he does it with the elegance and the refinement of a true artist. Okay, so let's see how this all comes together. We're moving from his philosophy, his ideas, to his actual daily practice. Because for Jarru, spirituality isn't some stuffy thing you do in a temple once a week. No way. It's something you live, you breathe, and believe it or not, you even wear. And the core of this practice is a concept called Chihalat Hasin, which means the light in the ordinary. It's this beautiful belief that sacred power isn't separate from your life. It flows through it. Every gesture, every choice you make can be a form of prayer. Just take a look at his pre-event ritual. He calls it igniting my calm. Before he gives a performance or enters a debate, he goes through these 4 simple steps. I mean, it probably takes less than a minute, but it completely centers him. It turns a simple moment of preparation into a truly sacred act. And this is where it gets really cool. He literally wears his faith. He works with artisans to embed these ancient ancestral symbols into modern clothes. So you've got an engraved sigil inside his cuff, an invocation embroidered into the lining of his shoes. For him, fashion isn't about vanity. It's a visual prayer. It's incredible. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? He's drawing this sharp contrast between the grand, kind of static rituals of the past and his own embodied, personal spirituality. He's basically translated ancient devotion into a modern language of style and presence. So where does all this come from? I mean, to really understand the man, you have to understand the immense history and the spiritual lineage that shaped him. And this isn't just, some dry family history. It's a living, breathing inheritance. He belongs to the house of Tarak, which is this ancient matrilineal bloodline, and their sacred duty is to guard Kasorin, the warrior flame of compassion in motion. So yeah, they're warriors for sure, but their greatest weapon is empathy that's been refined into pure elegance. Just look at this timeline. It's incredible. For 21 generations, his family's core purpose has evolved to meet the needs of the age. It started with establishing the hearth, then it moved to forging a warrior doctrine, then to uniting divided houses, And Jarru's era? It's called the flame of reflection, a time when action has to be guided by deep self-awareness. Every single heir is bound by these 4 duties. And while they're all obviously important, Jarru is said to excel at the last 2, to bridge and to reflect. He's a master at connecting old traditions with modern creativity, and he never ever lets the massive weight of his duty erase his own identity.
And this is where things get truly mystical. His inheritance isn't just about land or titles, it's something called the Kosorlan memory, a literal psychic inheritance of the consciousness of all 20 generations that came before him. He's described it as feeling like 20 hearts breathing through mind. Can you even imagine?
So, all of this has been building to a really powerful climax. See, Jarru isn't just another heir in a long, impressive line. His very existence is the fulfillment of an ancient destiny, one that was meant to transform his family's purpose forever.
So the big question is, what's the deal with the 21st generation? Why is this one so special? Why does so much seem to rest on his shoulders? Well, the answer lies in a prophecy that was made thousands of years ago.
And the source of this prophecy is none other than the founder of his house, Valalier, who was known as the Ember Mother. She was the very first person to receive the doctrines of the flame, and she left behind this one final, kind of cryptic message about the future of her lineage. And here it is. When the flame learns to reflect instead of roar, I shall walk again through my children. Wow. I mean, that is such a profound statement about the evolution of power. It's about moving from just raw expression to conscious, thoughtful awareness. So let's break that down. This chart really clarifies those 2 states of being from the prophecy. You have the roaring flame, which represents action, conquest, raw strength. That's the warrior spirit of the past. And then you have the reflecting flame, which Jarru embodies. It's all about awareness, listening, and using your power not to dominate, but to illuminate. And this slide shows us exactly how he's fulfilling that prophecy in real time. He's taking the ancient commands of his house and reinterpreting them for the modern world. Guard loyalty becomes stay loyal to love, not control. Fight without hatred becomes strength is elegance and motion. He's not throwing away the past, he's evolving it into its highest, most refined form. This final quote, I think, just perfectly captures his entire legacy. He's taken this sacred flame, which was once protected behind temple walls, and he's carried it out into the world, into his art, into his diplomacy, into everyday conversation. He is the bridge. He's a living dialogue between what was and what can be. So what does it really mean for a tradition to survive? Well, maybe it means learning not just to burn, but to listen.